What's up guys, welcome back to part 6 of the How to Make a VR Game series. As always, if you'd like to support our channel so we can bring better and more content to you, please consider subscribing to the channel or supporting us on Patreon, where you can get access to our full source codes. In the last episode, we showed you how to move around with the continuous movement and the snap turn provider, and we set up our character controller. In this video, we are going to enable our XR Origin to teleport when holding the thumbstick forward and releasing it again. This can be done in the exact same way for both hands, no extra adjustments are needed. However, we are only going to set it up for the right hand since, as you know from the last videos, we want the continuous movement on the left hand. Let's jump into Unity. First, we need an input action to enable our teleport when we press the thumbstick forward. Luckily, the latest XR Interaction Toolkit version already provides all the input actions we need. Let's go to our input action map and see how this looks. If we go to our left hand locomotion, you will see the move action from last time. If you go to the right hand locomotion, you can see the turn from the last time. And now you may be wondering, but aren't we already using the thumbstick to turn around? How are we going to use the thumbstick to teleport? Well, if you look into this action, we can see that we use the thumbstick on the turn action only for east, west and south. So to the left, to the right and back. So now you know that the north direction is still empty. We are going to use teleport mode activate that already comes with the XR Interaction Toolkit and use it for our teleportation. You can see that it uses the same input action but is locked only to the north direction. So again, on the turn we have east, west, south, and on the teleport mode activate we have north. So if we push the right stick forward, we teleport. If we push it left, right or back, we're gonna turn. Great, now that we specified the input actions, let's create our teleport hand. For this we go to the XR Origin and create two parents above our hands and put our default hands as children. So just right click and create empty parent. Name this one left hand and this one right hand. Now our default hands are basically our grabbing hands. We are gonna name them left hand base and right hand base. Then on the right hand we are going to create another hand that is called right hand teleport. For this, we need many components that we have on the right hand already. So let's just copy that and rename it to right hand teleport. This hand will later only be activated when we press the input action that we specified before. First, we need the XR controller on our teleport hand. We took that from the right hand base. We don't need the XR direct interactor and we don't need a sphere collider. The next thing we need is an XR ray interactor. We need this because our teleport ray will interact with the ground, so we have to set up everything here so our ray can interact with the floor. Lastly, we will need the XR interactor line visual, which is automatically adding a line renderer. These two components are basically here for setting the width and the length of our ray and the color. So we can change it here down a little bit because it's usually a little bit thick, and we can give it a valid color and an invalid color. The invalid color means the color that it shows when it's not colliding with a layer that we want to. For example, if the teleport ray is colliding with a box, we don't want to teleport there, so we are going to show the invalid color. But if we are holding the ray on the floor, we want to show a valid color because that is the place where we can teleport to. Usually I like to set some gradients, so choose one of the colors, make this one a little bit lighter, and same here. Okay guys, we can see that our line here is purple for some reason. This means we don't have a material on our ray. Let's go down to the ray again, open this materials, and we see we have no material. We can just type in default and choose our default line. Next, we go to the XRAY interactor. We assign our XR origin here, and then we set the layer. We have to add a teleport layer because we want to later set the teleport layer to all the surfaces we want to teleport to. So let's add a teleport layer and assign it to our interaction layer mask. Next, we choose the line type. The default is a straight line. I like to set Bezier curve here, which will give you a nice curved line. And lastly, but very importantly, is to set the Raycast mask. Here you can choose which layer you should block the Raycast. I like to set it on everything, which means only if we hover over the teleport layer, which in this case will be the floor and the stairs, we can actually teleport, and if there is a cube in the way that has another layer, we shouldn't be able to teleport inside the cube. So if, for example, you would like to show the ray on another layer as well, you can unchoose this layer, but I like to block the Raycast on every layer that isn't a teleport layer. Awesome! So before we write our teleport controller to switch our hands, let's set up our environment. We click on the floor, create a teleport layer here, as well as assign it to the floor. So, like in the last video, we have to add another layer here, and only then we can apply it to the floor. We want to do the same for the stairs as well, because we want to check if we can also teleport on the stairs. You can just choose the stairs and apply the layer to all the stairs. The last component that we need to teleport on a surface is the teleportation area. We can just choose all of our surfaces again, all at once, and then add a teleportation area. You can see that we have the XR origin here again, and as you can see, we need the teleportation provider. So let's go to our XR origin, and this time we're gonna add a teleportation provider. We can set the locomotion system, which we already have on our rig, then go back to our surfaces and assign our teleportation provider. Then we set the interaction layer mask. We set it, of course, to teleport. So now we can really only collide with our Raycast on the teleport layer. Lastly, if you want, you can set a custom reticle. The reticle is basically a circle that is indicating you where you are teleporting to. To get the reticle, check the link in the description and you can download a reticle from our Google Drive account. Just drag the package in and import it. You can go to prefabs, teleport, and you can see that we have a reticle here. Use our surfaces again. And now you can attach the reticle. Great! Perfect, guys. Now there is only one thing left to do. We have to switch between our base hand, which grabs objects, and our teleport hand, which has a Raycast for teleporting on it, because we don't want to always see our Raycasts. So for that, we need a script that controls the state of our hands. So let's go to our scripts. Let's create a folder for our scripts. And then put the hand controller in here. And now let's assign this to our parent hands. So let's close this. And apply the script to our parents. Actually, on the left hand we don't need it, since we only teleport on the right hand. Okay, great. Now here on the right hand we have the script, so let's jump right into the code. Alright guys, we will basically have 4 components. We will have the XRAY interactor, so our line that we see. We have the input actions for the teleportation. We have the action-based controller, which we want to enable and disable on the teleport. And we have our base hand, so our XR direct interactor. So let's create serialized fields for all of them. So now if you remember our video from the grabbing, we are going to create similarly to that video events for our teleport action reference. We want to disable our XR Direct interactor and enable the action-based controller and our XR Ray interactor whenever we are pressing our thumbstick forward. When we are releasing the thumbstick, we want to enable our XR Direct interactor and disable the action-based controller on our teleport and the XR Ray interactor on our teleport. So similarly to the last time, we are just going to create an onEnable method where we subscribe to our events and onDisable method to unsubscribe to our events. In the grab video, we described why this is necessary because it can lead to memory leaks. Let's create our two methods. Our onEnable and our onDisable. Here we are creating two events, when we press and when we release our thumbstick. So we take our teleport action reference, .action.performed, and we want to subscribe to that and create a teleport mode activate callback. And the same for when the action is cancelled. We want to call a teleport mode cancel callback method. And then, as you might know by now, we are going to do the same in the onDisable method to unsubscribe from these events. So let's create our methods that contain the logic whenever we press or release our teleport action reference. In Rider, you can just click on it and press Alt and Enter, and it will create a method for you. So in here, make a reference to the XR Direct interactor, and as I said, whenever we press the teleport action, we want to disable this one. We set it to false, and as you know, we want to enable our teleport hand. We're gonna make a reference to our XR Ray interactor and enable this one, which means we're going to see our ray. And we're going to also activate our action-based controller, or specifically the input actions on our controller, which then means we can use our teleport. We also make a method for the cancel. I'm gonna move it down. Now, here we can basically do the same. Let's copy that and paste it here. And just turn this around because we want to enable our XR Direct interactor again, but disable our ray and our input actions on our teleport hand. Now, if you run it like this, you will have an issue, because if we release the thumbstick, it will disable our input actions right away, which will leave us no time to actually teleport. So what you need to do is have some kind of delay that waits for us to be teleported, and only after that disables our teleport hand and enables our base hand again. So let's create a delay and then call this logic in another method. So we're going to copy this and create a method that is called disable teleport. Perfect. Now all we have to do is call this disable teleport method after we waited for some time. As you know by now, you can call methods with the so-called lambda expression. We go up here, we make a lambda expression, and then we're going to invoke this method. We're going to write the name of the method, disable teleport, and then here we can choose a delay. The delay has to be very short. We can just choose 0.05 seconds, which is a float, and then save it like this. And that's all, guys. So we declared our XR Ray interactor, our action-based controller, our XR Direct interactor, and our input action reference. By default, we want to disable our action-based controller on our teleport hand. So let's go to Unity and do that. We can just go onto our hand, our right hand teleport, and then disable the input actions by default. Now the last thing we have to do here is assign our input action for the teleport. Let's search for right hand teleport mode, activate, and assign it to the hand. Lastly guys, as we know, we want to also disable and enable the XR ray, but as default it should be disabled. Just click here to disable it. Now before we can test, we have to assign our variables that we serialized in our script. So let's go to the right hand parent and then assign our variables here. So for the direct interactor, we grab our base hand, and for the ray interactor and the action-based controller, we can just choose our right hand teleport. Then for the teleport action reference, we're going to choose the exact same input action like before. We're going to type right hand teleport mode, activate, and assign it. Let's set up our headset, press on play. And now, if we press the right thumbstick forward, we should be able to teleport. If we release it, we will be teleported. Let's go up the stairs and see if these surfaces also work. And they do. Nice. Alright, and that's it guys. Today we looked at how to set up teleportation on our XR Origin and control different hands with different logic with a hand controller depending on our controller input. In the next video we are going to use the hand controller again to switch to a new UI hand. On this hand we are going to show you how to interact with UIs in VR and also use the same raycast of the UI hand to distance grab other objects. I hope you are enjoying this series. If you do, please consider subscribing or leaving us a like. If you would like to have access to our source code, feel free to join our Patreon. If you have any questions, we are happy to answer you in our Discord. Thanks so much for watching and see you next time.